Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to today's special event on digital technology for climate governance, hosted by Multimedia University in conjunction with the National Climate Governance Summit 2024. We have an exciting program lined up today featuring a keynote address, a panel discussion with industry experts, and the launch of the Adopatory program by Yayasan University Multimedia. To formally open today's program, it is my pleasure to invite Professor IR Dr. Hairul Azhar Abdul Rashid, Vice President of Market Exploration, Engagement and Touchpoints at Multimedia University, to deliver the welcome remarks and promptly introduce the keynote speaker. Professor IR Dr. Hairul has been instrumental in driving MMU's commitment to sustainability and climate governance, making him the perfect person to set the stage for today's discussions. Please join me in welcoming Professor IR Dr. Hairul Azhar Abdul Rashid.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon to everyone. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin, the Senior Associate at Malaysia Industry Government Group for High Technology or MIGHT, who is our key presenter for today. Members of MMU Leaders Council, including the esteemed experts from the panel discussion later, we have Dr. Shalin Tegaraja, CEO of TM R&D, and we have also Dr. Siti Zakia Melatu Samsi, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Business in Melaka, MMU Melaka. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, gives me great pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to this event, Digital Technology for Climate Governance, organized by MMU in collaboration with the National Climate Governance Summit 2024 or NCGS. We are thankful to Amanah Lestari Alam or Alam and Climate Governance Malaysia CGM for partnering with MMU as part of the University Network for NCGS 2024. Their collaboration extends the reach of this important event to universities nationwide. As we gather today, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in the global fight against climate change. The theme of this event highlights the significant role digital technology can play in enhancing climate governance. Our objective is to explore how technologies such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and blockchain can be integrated into strategies to achieve sustainable development and drive meaningful climate action. So ChatGPT is not just for your assignments, so the students, of course. At MMU, we are deeply committed to advancing climate governance through various innovative projects. Our seaweed project is a prime example, focusing on cultivating seaweed to absorb excess nutrients from coastal waters, helping mitigate the effects of climate change and prompting marine biodiversity. Similarly, our coral reef restoration work contributes to the protection and restoration of these vital ecosystems, which are crucial for maintaining marine biodiversity and supporting millions worldwide. So we have YAM, Yayasan University Multimedia, in collaboration with Yayasan Coral Malaysia, CIMB working out with corals in Pulau Redang. Dr. Kanes, is that right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so we are placing strong emphasis on sustainable practices. Our initiatives in public awareness, education, and communication are designed to foster a deeper understanding of environmental issues and inspire action. Through our programs, we are educating the next generation of leaders who will drive sustainable development and climate governance. So for today and hopefully in the future, we won't be using plastic bottles anymore. So you can see the glass jar on the tables today. Now, before I proceed, I'd like to inform you that our Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of MITE, Tan Sri Zakri Abdul Hamid, who was scheduled to be today's keynote presenter, sends his apologies, as he has been called upon to fulfill an official duty in Sabah. Nevertheless, we are honored to have today Prof. Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin, Senior Associate at MITE and a colleague of Tan Sri Zakri, who's stepping in to present today's keynote. Prof. Dr. Kushairi's extensive expertise in the field of will ensure that our discussions will be both insightful and engaging. I would like also to welcome our esteemed experts who will bring a wealth of knowledge and insights into the intersection of digital technology and climate governance. Their perspectives will be invaluable as we delve into how technology can mitigate impacts of climate change. At this juncture, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin, who is the Senior Associate at MITE and also an adjunct professor at the International Institute of Science, Diplomacy and Sustainability. Tan Sri Zakri, who is also the Pro-Chancellor of MMU, on Malaysia preparation for the UN Climate Change COP29 meeting in Azerbaijan this coming November and the coming ASEAN meeting next year. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Kushairi is a distinguished coastal ecologist and environmental scientist with extensive experience in regional marine resource conservation and sustainable management. He had served as the executive director of the Coral Triangle Initiative on coral reefs, fisheries, and food security, based in Manado, leading efforts to safeguard one of the world's most critical marine ecosystem across 6 countries, which are 3 Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, and 3 Pacific Oceania countries, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste. His work involved coordinating regional policies with various governments, fostering international collaboration, and promoting sustainable management practices towards achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. His leadership in integrating science into policy making has been instrumental in advancing regional cooperation on natural resources and ecosystem sustainability. He was one of the panel speakers in the forum Framing the Future for Nature in preparing for ASEAN UK COP26 UN Conference on Climate Change, Glasgow 2022. He was invited as a panel speaker on the discussion entitled Fisheries Innovations to Close the Sustainability Gap, organized by The Economist's second World Ocean Summit for Asia Pacific 2022 in Singapore. He presented a brief on CTI CFF works on the Coral Triangle to Bloomberg Group at the Our Ocean Conference in Palau 2022. He led CTI CFF's regional secretariat, co-hosted 2 events together with ICRI, Government of Monaco, Conservation Finance Alliance US, KfW Bank Germany, UK Government, IUCN, and UNDP, entitled United for a Decade of Conservation Action for Coral, and Innovative Finance for Coral Reefs during the UN Conference on Biodiversity COP15 in Montreal 2022. In 2023, Prof. Kushairi was invited as a panel speaker by the government of Panama at a high-level discussion on ecological connectivity governance, finance, and economy at the Our Ocean conference in Panama. Prof. Kushairi spearheaded the setting up of the Coral Triangle Regional Trust Fund, and he was the founder chair of the board of directors of the CTI CFF's Regional Conservation Trust Fund. He had also successfully initiated and led a written chapter entitled CTI CFF toward the SDGs in the Coral Triangle in the book A Better World, of which the book has been published in London and launched in conjunction with the UN SDG Summit 2023 in New York. So with that, I will end my welcoming speech. Before that, I'd like to, on behalf of the management and the entire MMU community, express our gratitude for this opportunity to organize this event today. Your presence here underscores the importance of collaboration in addressing the complex challenges of climate change. Together, I believe we can make a significant impact in shaping a sustainable future. Thank you, and I look forward to a productive and inspiring event. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor IR Dr. Hairul, for your insightful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned by Professor IR Dr. Hairul in his speech, we regret to inform you that our Pro-Chancellor, Academician Professor Tan Sri Dr. Zakri Abdul Hamid is unable to join us today due to official commitments. However, we hope to have another opportunity to welcome Professor Tan Sri Dr. Zakri in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin here today to share his valuable insights on climate governance. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin.
This is forward. This forward. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Hairul. We met in 2 times in my office and Tan Sri's office discussing about your Pro-Chancellor presentation. And first, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Hairul Azhar. Thank you for your long introduction. Sounds like almost a book now. And I also welcome to meet personally with I have 5 minutes ago with Dr. Charlene Tiagaraja, the Chief Executive Officer of the MRND. Also with Dr. Ziti Zakia Malatu Samsi, yes, the Dean Faculty of Business in Malacca branch, I learned here. And good afternoon to the management committee members of MMU, invited guests from industries and companies, deans, directors and lecturers, MMU students, and ladies and gentlemen. We discussed the Tan Sri's bring this title here. I don't have to look at the back. I have a copy here prepared by Fakrul. Yeah. The title of his message is on the role of digital technology in climate governance. To me, it's more of the importance of digital technology, actually. After looking at this university and talking to the R&D group, so I think this university is going towards looking at the importance and the innovations, research and innovations in the coming near future. Let me give you a brief of what is happening in the world. Although you know about it, I try to elaborate a few that I have to date. Yeah, as you know, global warming has been increasing more and more each time. I think this year also you can also feel the heat that is penetrating our skin almost daily if you are outside of the aircon room. Yeah. And as you can see now here, is the high temperature has been experienced before. When I was doing the research myself on the coral reef area of the South China Sea in 1998, 1999, I found that also even in Tioman alone, in Pulau Tioman, if you're familiar with, in the east coast of Pahang, it was about 25% corals died during the heat wave in that year in 1998. And following that also, you can see that the reduced ice in the Arctic Circle, as well as also sea level rise. Sea level rise has been of interest to me since I'm working on the underwater habitat of the South China Sea and the Malacca Straits, and also in Japan Sea. It is rising and alarming, and some of the small state island countries are worried of this rising seawater levels. And as you can see, that the greenhouse effect here is tremendous. The greenhouse, as you know, gases, is which absorb the sunlight that penetrates, that heat up the Earth's surface, and that is absorbed by the gases and also the water vapor, and carbon dioxide form 3/4 of the gas emissions. And methane, for example, in agriculture in Malaysia and also some other countries also were feeling the pressure that caused the high temperature of this global world. And biodiversity. I work with biodiversity since 1985. So biodiversity, my first work was directed by the Prime Minister Department under Tun Mahathir, where we have done travel to all the islands in Malaysia. I was very young at that time, and with the group under the Ministry of Agriculture, and we were about 2 to 3 years exploring all the islands in Malaysia to declare the islands on the coral reef status. And finally, in 1985, 42 islands were declared as the marine parts of Malaysia. So this was the first biodiversity work that I have experienced. And as you know, when the temperature is rising, there are species that are lost. The UN declare a number of species has been lost, but I always ask whether it's correct or not, because in some years back, some other species that has been claimed lost appear again. So survival of the fittest plays a role, as Darwin has explained. Yeah. And the coral reef also, if you know, that although they die because of the heat wave, there is increase in the temperature of the water below surface as well, they will survive if you're given the chance for them to do so. This is the Sustainable Development Goals that has been passed in by the signatories of 193 nations in Paris. So this is where all nations are now heading towards this. I am removing the pin, as you can see here. It's blocking. Right. So we have in the biodiversity meetings that has been done in Canada, and before that also in the biodiversity meetings in several countries under oceans also has looked into this Sustainable Development Goals, which until now it has been claimed by United Nations is not a single country has able to fulfill the SDGs. So in the next meeting in Azerbaijan, perhaps member countries are looking back into it again, and a new shift of sustainable development goals will be set up, I believe. In some countries that I work with the environment, for example, like Indonesia, they think they will be able to face the sustainable development goals to achieve a certain percentage by not by 2030, but by 2035. And some other countries also were mentioning on this. So it's good to hear in the coming United Nations meeting in Azerbaijan what actually come to the definitive decisions made by 193 nations over in Azerbaijan. And if you look at this now, this is the protocol that I mentioned, the Kyoto Protocol, which a lot of meeting has been follow up in that meeting, and the United Nations framework on climate change. In 2021, I was in Geneva for discussing about this framework. I was about 2 weeks there, yeah, with a group, listening to the discussions. Yeah. And next is the Malaysia National Energy Policy, the inventory. Yeah. This energy policy has been carried out, set up in 2022 to 2040. And is, as you know, energy is the engine for economic growth of these countries. And when the launching of the national energy policy that has been done, it is a major source of fiscal income for nations' coffers. This competitive energy sector, even at the MMU also now, through my readings, has been also been robust and elaborate in their effort on this energy sector. At MIT too now, they are looking at the energy sector, mainly the renewable energy resources, to go against the non-renewable energy resources. And Petronas also, when I was meeting them back in 2 years ago in Egypt, so we have dinner at that time during the UN meeting. Also, we're looking into the renewable energy towards that. Yeah. And this also has underscores the commitment given by the government towards the environment, social, as well as also governance commitment. This is the energy policy that is been tabled and been followed closely by MMU as well as the body. And let's go into the role of digital technology in climate governance. As you know, these are some of the applications of MMU. Towards one is on the remote sensing and the satellites. And then we have the big data analysis on AI, as well as also communication and collaborations. We have also the digital technology in where we can look into this aspect on the climate governance. For example, the implementation, the policy, the renewable energy management, disaster management response, and also the next one is being the forestry solutions in which MMU has achieved. This MMU, as I have learned, provides effective forestry management solutions in Selangor, I heard. Yeah. And the next one is looking at this. MMU research also has gone through for offshore seaweed cultivation. I have visited in Sandakan, Sabah, before I was sent to Manado, Indonesia, to explore on seaweed culture. I think the water off the east coast and the north coast of Sabah is could be very productive and a good area for culturing seaweeds. At the moment, seaweed has been cultured by the Bugis people there, and most of the products has been sold directly to Philippines at that time. So I'm not very sure what is it now, because before it was dried in Sandakan due to there's a factory there. But when I was there, the factory has already been not been functioning anymore. But this was the last 6 years. Yeah, I'm not sure about what is going on now. And seaweed is important as a source for biofuel. If you digest anaerobically, you can get the gas, and if you ferment the seaweeds, you can get ethanol. So these are the way that that seaweeds can be explored further. And some universities, University of Malaya, for example, they have turned one island as their island for biodiversity study, and another university also there. Perhaps MMU would like to see perhaps an island in Sabah to be another station for seaweed culture, perhaps. Yeah. And reef rescue, they call it reef rescue. So I have been working with reef since 1985. And in fact, I was also being appointed to evaluate some of the companies in Kuala Lumpur that has ventured into restoration work on coral reefs. So what they did is that to transfer healthy coral segments to a devastated area corals to grow corals. But I see that the implementation is not really well planned because during my evaluation of two companies, 95% of the coral segments that has been replanted into the bed area of corals has been destroyed by wave and also the debris from the sea bottom churning of the waves. So it should be planned quite thoroughly and very diligently so that this culture can be successful. I'm looking also on the collaboration and partnership. There's the government, between government, industry, and academic society. While on my way here to MMU today, there is slight difference between the developed countries and the country in Asia or the Ocean Pacific, because they always put government on the top, industry and academic civil society at the bottom. So when I was launching the trust fund for regional trust fund, regional trust fund is independency is being counted for tremendously. And in projects also, in my opinion, this is my opinion, in addition to Tan Sri's opinion, perhaps the industry should be on the top, and the academic and society will be flanking left and right, and government should be at the bottom. Because government give you the infrastructures, lay out the platform, is the industry and the people have to move. This is how I learned in many meetings overseas, how industries are capable of going forward. I and Tan Sri Zakri now, we are developing the International Institute of Sustainable Development and Sustainability at the UCSI. We are looking at how science diplomacy can play a role, in which where the science data is brought forward, industry with the players, and the findings will be brought back to the government to initiate more on the application. So in this way, I think this will push things to expedite things much faster. And again, also, these are the lists, as you can see on the screen. MMU has been very thorough to work internationally in various fields of collaborations and cooperations, and as well as also the climate knowledge and skills. Yes. I have posed 2 questions here, because after this, the panel will be sitting down. I hope they will also see if their questions fit for their discussions. I have 2 humble questions, because in developing a country, they say they separate things, and developing a region is separate things. In country, we have this human capital development, which comes first, followed by economic competitiveness and quality infrastructure. And the last one, we come to the nature-based and disaster resilience. And that is where in 1970, when is MMU established? 1997, 1997, human capital development, because the government see that if we need to have that towards that development, so this university has been launched. So that is where the human capital development has been there. So in the region, we look into 3 aspects as well. One is the capacity building, of how this capacity building for each country can be developed. And each year we call this representative that is involved in the capacity building to come to Manado to be briefed of what they should be doing. Yeah. And data information sharing, number 2 is data information sharing. And number 3 is policy harmonization. I've yet to see policy harmonization to be achieved well internationally. It's not easy, but once you get these 3 capacity building, sharing of information, and finally the policy together, we can develop the region. Yeah, now it's quite a challenge to get all member countries to sit together. Even in Manado when I was there, and the second one, the data information sharing, questions were raised about what kind of information, what kind of data should we share among our countries. Yeah. So these are the 2 questions I have in here. Number 1 is what strategy learning approach should MMU educators adopt for effective teaching and mentoring the multimedia students in today's rapid technology advancement? I throw this question because since 2015 onwards, tremendous information has been going on through the internet and through the web and the online. For example, through the phone. So when I was the dean of the environmental technology at a university, I saw that lecturers are sometimes being left behind because the students will catch up very fast through the web of information. Yeah. So this is where I throw these questions. Perhaps this question has been attended to by MU. I apologize on that, but this is very important because students sometimes get bored. If we are not achieving that kind of knowledge beyond what they know. Yeah. And I faced that when I was the dean of the faculty. Now, number 2 is that how can sustainability and resilient factors be integrated into MMU industrial partners, student internship to equip MMU graduates in fulfilling the national workforce expectations. So I before also my lecturers evaluate students doing internships. So I have at that time was the university sent to Petronas. We sent a very bright student to Petronas to do internship. So I chose to evaluate this the students there. So when I went to evaluate, the Petronas mentor called me into another room and then asking me, we have offered your student to work once he's finished in Petronas, but he declared he's not joining, he said. So we wonder why. So I asked the students why, because he said he got a better choice, he said. So this is where I think MMU and industrial partners should see how this integration of together can we develop students that is going to face the workforce expectations. In the companies now, they talk about ESG, they talk about sustainability, they talk about innovations. Not only innovations, but innovation that is dedicated to the love of environment. So this is the challenge that I found is need to be comprehensively understand. So in that way, I sum up my presentation, or rather Tan Sri's presentation to the university. So he is hope that to meet you soon as much as possible. He couldn't come here because of the meeting on the world science, technology, and information in Kota Kinabalu right now. Yeah. So I thank you very much to the organizers, and thank you to all of you, the deans, as well as also the staff and the students. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushari, for that truly inspiring and thought-provoking keynote address. Your insights have laid the perfect foundation for the discussions we are about to have today. As a gesture of our deep appreciation, I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Hairul back to the stage to present a token of gratitude to Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushairi. Please welcome Professor IR Dr. Hairul to the stage.
Some goodies. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Professor IR Dr. Hairul, and once again, a heartfelt thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushari, for your invaluable contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let us give a big round of applause to Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushari. Now it is time to shift our focus to the panel discussion, where we will hear from leading experts who are at the forefront of integrating digital technology into climate governance. To guide us through this exciting session, I am pleased to introduce our moderator, Mr. Terence Tan Gek Siang, a lecturer from the Faculty of Business. He will be moderating the conversation with our esteemed panelists. Please welcome Mr. Terence Tan.
Nice meeting you. Thank you very much to the Master of Ceremony. A very good afternoon to our distinguished guest, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kushairi Muhammad Rajuddin, our keynote speaker today. Professor Dr. Hairul Azhar bin Abdul Rashid, the Vice President, Market Exploration, Engagement and Touchpoint, MEET MMU. Ladies and gentlemen, in conjunction with the satellite event of the National Climate Governance Summit 2024, MMU proudly presents you a fascinating panel discussion on the topic of harnessing digital technology for climate action. I'm Terence Tan from the Faculty of Business, Malacca campus, who will be moderating today's panel discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, together with me on the stage today, we have Dr. Siti Zakia Amlatu Samsi, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Business, and we have Dr. Charlene Tiagaraja, who is the Chief Executive Officer of TMRND. Welcome. So before we dive into our discussion, I would like to introduce our esteemed panelists who will be sharing their expertise with us. So first, I would like to introduce Dr. Charlene Tiagaraja. So Dr. Charlene is the Chief Executive Officer of TM Research and Development, a world-class research and innovation company of TM Group. She has more than 28 years of experience in the telecommunication industry, with leadership roles in corporate strategy, business development, technology and innovation, and digital transformation. She was instrumental in transforming TM R&D from a cost center to a business unit that has commercialized 18 solutions for the global telco and utilities market, saving clients millions in the operational efficiency and support. In the early 2006 and 2007, she co-founded 2 startups in the software and industrial automation space, and later divested the software business in 2013. She is now an adjunct professor at University Technology Malaysia and a committee member at the Faculty of Science, Material Science at the University of Putra, Malaysia since 2018. Today, Dr. Charlene writes a monthly column with the Starbiz 7, sharing her aspiration for Malaysians to embrace entrepreneurship and transform from being a nation of mere consumers to a nation of exporters of homegrown technologies. Dr. Charlene holds a PhD in computer systems engineering, a master's degree in telecommunication engineering from University Putra, Malaysia, and a Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Engineering, first class honors from the University Technology Malaysia, UTM. Welcome, Dr. Charlene. So moving on next, I would like to introduce our second panelist, who is Dr. Siti Zakia Melatu Samsi. So she is an assistant professor in the Digital Business Management Department, Faculty of Business, MMU Malacca campus. Currently, she serves as the Dean of the faculty. She has more than 17 years of teaching experience in IT service management, digital business, and critical thinking in organizations at both undergraduate and a postgraduate level. Dr. Zakia is very passionate about and actively involved in research activities. She has secured several internal and external research grants, and her research works are published in index journals, conference proceedings, and book chapters. And in view of her research contributions, Dr. Zakia is appointed as the Research Fellow at the Shinawatra University, Thailand. Dr. Zakia also actively involved in conducting trainings, workshops, and consultancy projects related to ICT and IT applications, digital business, critical thinking, and innovation for schools, universities, and also corporate clients. She has a professional certificate in Information Technology Infrastructure Library, Graduate Technologies certification from MBOD, and certification from the Malaysian Academy of SME and Entrepreneurship Development, MASMET, UITM, as the Certified Small and Micro Business Advisor. To date, Dr. Zakia has won numerous innovation awards locally and internationally, and in view of her remarkable achievements, she has been bestowed with several recognitions from the university, including the Best Mentor Award finalist 2018, the Most Entrepreneurial Staff Award 2019, and one of the finalists for the President Award individual category in 2018. Dr. Zakia holds a PhD in Information System and Master of Science Information Technology Management from University Technology Malaysia, UTM, and a Bachelor of the Management Information System from the International Islamic University Malaysia, IIUM. So let me brief everyone about the flow of today's panel discussion. This panel discussion consists of 2 parts. So in the first part, we will dive into understanding the intersections of digital technology and climate governance, followed by the second part of the panel discussion, in which we will be discussing about the practical applications of digital technology. So ladies and gentlemen, let us kick off our first part of panel discussion, which we will be talking about understanding the intersection of digital technology and climate governance. So we would like to hear from the first panelist, Dr. Charlene, about how can digital technology, particularly the innovations developed by TM R&D, contribute to effective climate governance.
Thank you, Terence, and thank you for that kind introduction. Memang boleh tulis buku lah, as Prof. Kushairi spoke about earlier. First of all, I would like to thank MMU for organizing this event and of course, inviting me to participate. I am truly honored to be here and to speak to all of you today. Before I continue, allow me just a few minutes to give you an introduction about TMRND, who we are and what we do, because it's not usual to have a research company, incorporated, right? Today, TMRND is a licensed research company and the research arm of MMU. Now, we were incorporated as a company in year 2000. This is in the times of the multimedia super corridor, and the prime minister of the day at the time was Tun Mahathir, and he was very, very keen of growing Malaysia as a knowledge-based economy. And one of the methods to do that is to grow a very strong and robust R&D culture. And therefore, most of the GLCs, incorporated R&D companies to help fuel the growth of local homegrown technologies. So today, TMRND is responsible for all R&D activities for the entire TM group. And I hope you know who TM is. We are a telco in Malaysia. So over the last 24 years, we have built strength in connectivity and digital technologies. And that includes everything from AI, machine learning, IoT, and all the other aspects of digital technologies. And what we have done is commercialize more than 18 solutions to date. And these solutions now generate more than 20 million in revenues for TMRND. And out of these, one of our best-selling solution is the smart digital helmet that has been exported into the Asian market. So we understand technology is big business. And with that in mind, we launched our sustainability COE in November 2023 last year. And then some of our projects were shared by Prof. Kushairi so kindly. And because we believe technology can make a very big difference in the goal of managing climate change and climate governance. So there are three main pillars of climate governance. Yeah, we are looking at the first pillar, which is mitigation. How do we manage the immediate risk of climate change? And Prof. Kushairi has spoken a lot about it in his slides. Yeah, the second pillar is adaptation. How do we build a resiliency into the economy? That means how do we be self-sufficient knowing that the climate risk is coming? How do we build resiliency, not just to the economy, but to the businesses and as individuals into your lives? And the third is implementation. Now, how do we implement change or ensure adoption of change is done that it doesn't then hurt the business and the economy? Because every country in this planet is grappling with the same climate change, and every country in this planet is trying to manage and mitigate. So sometimes it may be deflected to us, as a smaller economy, from an economic play, policies, implementations, plans that may look good on paper, but is momentous to a small economy like Malaysia. So adopting policies also needs to be, and here we have Prof. Kushairi so kindly talking to us about this, is where a globalized policy adoption needs to come into play, where it must be fairly adopted to economies like us. So with that long intro, I'll give you an example of a solution that we have implemented, homegrown technology from R&D, to mitigate, adapt, and implement, which is a smart water solution called SWIMS that has been adopted by AIS Selangor since the year 2019 or 2020, in that time frame. Now, SDG 6 talks about the sustainable goals for clean water and sanitation, and this is where our solution fits into that ecosystem. So we all know having clean access to clean drinking water is so important, because water is required for all living beings on this earth, and we're so lucky that Malaysia still has plenty of rainwater. And I'm using the operative word here is still have, because in many countries around the world, they are seeing a reduction in rainfall and drought. Even first world countries like Australia and the United States and countries in Europe are facing challenges in providing clean water for their residents or their communities. I'm sure you have read in the newspaper about rationing of water for non-core activities, as they call it, for watering your gardens, for cleaning your cars, and even flushing your toilets. And these are countries like Australia and Silicon Valley in the US. And we used to travel quite a lot to San Francisco, and we understand that communities staying there have rations. And this is not spoken about, in many communities. So we are very lucky. However, did you know that 35 to 50% of the clean treated water that is generated by your Air Selangor and all your individual water companies is lost due to non-revenue water? And that is leakages due to old pipes, burst pipes that you see sometimes in the road and so on. Now, to treat this water costs money, right? You have to clean this water. And it is such a waste to see when some communities don't have running water and our water just gets lost due to either theft or leakages in the pipes. And this is due to old pipes and so on. So, with our solution called SWIMS, adopted by Air Selangor, which is one of the largest water companies in Malaysia because it has more than 8 million homes in Selangor. So the technology includes a combination of technology, IoT, sensor technology, AI, machine learning, visualization, and so on. So we put this all together to enable the water company to detect the anomalies in water pressure through sensors and so on, and AI, and give early warning alerts to the utility companies of very small minor leaks that sometimes goes unnoticed because it's underground, most of your pipes. And so then they can go to that affected area, and fix it. Or big burst in water pipes, so alerts goes in, because we all do this. We drive, we see a burst water pipe, but we don't stop to call, right? We just think about it and we say, I hope somebody else calls to tell Air Selangor, that there's a problem. And so this solution has already been implemented, and we know for a fact that serious problems in Selangor in the past have been mitigated, in part due to some of these solutions, digital technologies that's been implemented. And we have seen a 3,000% improve in productivity for the utility companies, which then relates back to a improvement in cost of operations, to the utilities companies. So just as an example, Terence, sorry to take so long.
All right, thank you very much to Dr. Charlene. Dr. Charlene has shared with us, how TM R&D embeds sustainability into its strategic goals. And from your insightful explanation just now, we are very clear now that TM R&D works on a smart connectivity, IoT solutions, and intelligent platforms. Indeed showcases a transformative approach. Right. So moving on, we would like to invite Dr. Sakya to give us some explanations about the economic and business implications. How can business leverage the digital technologies for sustainable practices, and what economic benefits can they get? Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, Terence. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terence gave me 2 questions. Prof. Kushari gave me 2 questions. So I have 4 questions at the moment to be answered. I think, Prof, can I put that towards the end of the forum later? Because I need time to check from ChatGPT. We are talking about digital technology today, and how it relates to climate change and also businesses. So before we go deeper into the relationship or how digital technologies connected to climate change, let us learn first how businesses are actually connected to climate change. I can say that there are 3 different perspectives here. First, business is the reason for climate change. Okay, because we are in the cinema, Nadia, so I would like to talk about a movie that I watched last week with my family. It is a Tamil movie actually. Oh, Dr. Zakia watched Tamil movie. Okay. You know, Tamil movie, despite of the actions, stunts, all the yalah, flying things kan. It was about a captain in an army. It is a fictional movie actually. In an army team investigating something in one area known as Sector 42. So Sector 42 located at the border. It is a closed area in between Pakistan, China and also India. And nobody can actually enter Sector 42 except for certain reasons. So there was a case where one of the team member killed himself. They kill others and after that kill himself. So this captain would like to investigate what is going on in Sector 42. There is basically no human in that sector. So they entered Sector 42 together with one scientist, investigate what happened. So during the investigation, they found Minotaur, or monster basically. Minotaur is a human-like creature with bull head in Greek ancient time lah, this kind of thing. So this Minotaur kill others lah, trying to kill, but of course lah, captain kan, hero never dies. Okay, so what they found in Sector 42, suddenly they found an old factory and other bodies. So the captain started to investigate why there are human beings in this Sector 42. Okay, during investigation, but this captain, the main operation is to kill the Minotaur or the kill the king of the Minotaur, the giant monster. What's that? In the lake. Just maybe to add the suspense, good kan? Okay, but finally, after the fighting, blah blah blah, and so on, the captain decided not to kill the king. He came back to the base and talked to the general. He said that, I'm so sorry, General. We did not kill the king of the Minotaur, although we have a lot of opportunities to kill the king. Why? Because the actual monster is not them. The actual monster is other people, others, other creatures, which is the human being. So during the investigation, he found one disc. Actually, there was a company given authorization to enter Sector 42 to mine and process rare earth in that area, worth billion. So this company, they dump the toxic waste from the factory directly to the lake. So that caused the creature in the lake angry. So he said that during the fighting, I found that this creature is actually safeguarding or taking care of the populations inside the lake. So we should not touch and kill them. Instead, we have to leave Sector 42. Let them stay in that area. So human being is actually one of the reason of the climate change. Businesses especially. Okay, based on the information that we get from World Economic Forum, for example, businesses or large corporations are actually the major contributor for climate change, on top of the individual contributions. Okay, that is one perspective. Second perspective, business impacted from climate change. Okay, based on World Meteorological Organization, since the past 50 years, weather, climate, and water extreme caused average of US dollar 202 million economic losses per day. Economic losses per day is 202 million US dollar due to climate. Example of economic losses: the recent sinkhole incident in Jalan Masjid India, for example, we can see how many businesses are affected. Loss of human health. People are facing a lot of health issues. That will increase the cost of insurance, medical costs, and so on. That definitely impacted cost of business. Cost in the business organizations. Year by year, time by time, we receive requests from staff to increase our medical coverage. The rise of temperature, for example, will increase the energy costs. When temperature is getting hotter, we use more energy for air conditioner and so on. As simple as that. This is things that happening every single day. The hotter the temperature, the higher the cost that we face, that we have to spend in the organization. So when the higher the cost is, the lesser the profit. That's the thing. And of course, it will have impact on the ecosystem and also agriculture, supply chain, flood, for example. What happened to India? They stopped exporting rice to Malaysia because of major flood that they are facing, or the climate, the impact from the climate change. They are not able to produce enough food. I think you can see from the previous slides presented by Prof. Kushari before this. So this is some of the impact, okay, that the business have to face with regards to climate change. The third perspective, okay, climate change can be a business to a business. The MRND, 18 solutions. So it is an opportunity. From the problem, we create opportunity and we have a business. Okay, so we can see now the relationship. Back to the question. What was the question? How digital technology or how businesses leverage digital technology for sustainable practices. Okay, based on the analysis by World Economic Forum and Accenture, digital solutions can reduce global emissions by up to 20% of the reduction needed in 2050. Okay, that is only a statement, but how? Okay, I don't want to talk about very technology per se lah, but how technology can actually help us in organization, like reduce emissions, reduce the usage of energy and so on. We can start with number one, practices. Enforce green practices. How to reduce energy in office. How to reduce papers in office. Shift to digital technology. Use share points or shared documents. Do not print. But as simple as that is also very difficult for us, right? That's very simple action by individual people in an organization. It's very difficult, especially in education. Submitting thesis every week, meet supervisor. Every week must print the thesis. So that draft thesis, half of RIM code, Terence. How thick your thesis is? 300 pages?
Around that.
300 pages. If every week we have to meet supervisor and need to print, I remember in 2018, once I graduated from my PhD, I have this. The copy of thesis that printed for my supervisor every time we meet supervisor. I met my supervisor. So taller than my daughter that time. Then until today I still have the copies. After like trying to use it for recycling the papers and try to write on it, printing on it and so on. Very difficult for us to change the practices. Because it's been but organization, businesses, we must do something. You have to shift. You have to provide platform. You cannot expect that people stop printing if you don't provide the platform for people to share documents, to keep documents, and so on. Before I became a dean, I was handling course files. So one semester we offer 170 courses, subjects. In Faculty of Business, we offer 13 programs. So every semester we have to collect 160 to 170 course files from lecturers. Some of the lecturers provide 2 stacks. So that 2 stacks may be 4 reams or 3 reams of A4 paper. So imagine that we have to keep all those physical documents in our storerooms for 5 years. Kan Cynthia, 5 years kan we have to keep. That is the retention period for our sample. That is only samples, not the exam scripts, not the assignments, not the balance lah. Sampling only 3 per class or 3 per sections and so on. As simple as that. In education, we are heavily using papers. Very difficult for us to shift to digital. Very difficult for us to trust digital exams, tests, and so on. Right? I saw yesterday one of my lecturer in the faculty said that now we shift to physical tests, no longer online tests because of ChatGPT. So now the other way around. We're supposed to solve the climate change issue with technology, but technology becomes issue to us. So how do we face it? This is talking about education only, let alone other industries and so on, that using very huge energy, water and so on. Okay. Second, that is practice, habits, culture, the way we do things every single day. How businesses can play the role. Number 2, process. How can we transform the process, the manual processes, students or people submitting papers, documents. Until now, some of us still printing the not cast sticker pula. Not license, road tax. Our government already use the digital road tax kan? But I saw that many people still print it, laminate and put it. Who are doing that? Because we still have very little trust to the digital. What happened if there's no internet connection? What happened if there's so many if lah? We don't want to do it. We are not following we don't support the initiative because there is initiative is there, but we don't support. That is another perspective. But we have to choose use digital repository, change maybe maximize virtual meetings, because mobility is one of the biggest contributor in the previous slide. One of the biggest contributor to the emissions. And then the third, then we go to solutions. As presented by Dr. Charlene just now, there are many solutions that we can develop, either to monitor, either to trigger, either to a smart system that can effectively manage our energy usage and so on. As simple as maybe we can equip the building from using a normal switch on and off lights and aircon to the smart system, IoT system, that maybe can only turn on when they detect maybe a movement inside or body temperature and so on, using a smart sensor technology. That is also another option, where at the end of the day, to conclude this, we used to hear for 3R campaign, right? What is that 3R campaign? Reuse, reduce first or recycle first? Reduce. Which one first? Whatever lah kan. Reuse, reduce, recycle. I add 1R, replace. Replace the old habit, replace the system, replace the process, replace maybe a manual system to digital system. Okay. Over to you, Terence. I think the second part, the impact too, we cover later lah. Okay.
All right, thank you very much to Dr. Zakia. One part I liked about your sharing is about the relationship that you have discussed with us from the three perspectives on how businesses are the main cause of climate change and how climate change could threaten the existence and sustainability of the business, and how later on climate change can become an opportunity for businesses as well, especially for research companies when they come up with sustainability solutions. And you also have shared with us some compelling economic benefits of adopting digital technology, such as cost saving and efficiency improvements. So moving on, we would like to hear from both of you about the importance of collaboration or partnership between the multi-stakeholders, namely the government, the industry, and the academic, in driving the digital transformation for climate governance. So with this, maybe we'd like to hear from Dr. Charlene first.
Thanks, Terence. You know, everyone is using the word collaboration in anything that they do. But in reality, very few people or very few companies are actually doing real collaboration. And to me, it's because collaboration is hard. Because collaboration takes a mindset shift of win-win. And it's about sharing the pie. It is about growing the pie. It is about no winner and no loser. Some companies and some countries love the word dominance, right? They want to dominate the world. They want their product to dominate. But when you go in a collaboration mindset, sometimes one party needs to give way to the other party for a successful collaboration. And in business, this is hard. So while it has worked in some cases, but there's a lot of negotiation behind the scenes to enable this collaboration to even come to a stage where you can sign on the dotted line, because sometimes it's about resources, sometimes it's about funding, sometimes it's about time. And this mindset shift of not winner takes all is something that we need to groom, and hopefully we can groom through example, maybe with TMR&D, MMU, in teaching. We can share how to collaborate more effectively, and what does collaboration mean in an ecosystem. And we all understand that we can't do this alone, especially on climate. This is a big topic. It's too complex, and there's so many things we don't know. But if we don't communicate and express ourselves properly, this is the other part of the 3 R's, which is reading, writing, and arithmetics. Something so basic, but a lot of us fail to be able to communicate and to express our thoughts. To all you young fellas out there typing in code language, code language, because to me is like, I tak faham lah. Try to use full sentences. Try to use full words, because so easily to be misrepresented in business when you do all your short forms, right? Another aspect of collaboration, and this is more related to government security and for us overall, for the country's prosperity, is when choosing your partner. Now, there's a lot of local tech and local partners that I would love to see being used more and more versus the foreign tech. And it's not just because foreign is bad and so on and so on. That's not the case. It is because a lot of outflow, the GDP of a country is determined by how much you spend and how much each individual spends or uses within the economy. Now, you might have top line. For a government, you might have top line. Oh, Intel is here. I'm just using Intel as an example. Oh, company A is here exporting millions of chipsets, right? But a lot of the underlying technology comes from abroad. So while you have top line, a lot of the bottom line goes away, because you need to export back, or you need to buy foreign tech, use foreign currency, for example. So this is where the leakages happens within the economy. So I'm a big champion of local technology, local talent, because we believe we can be a net exporter of technology rather than just a consumer. And with all of you young faces here, I'm sure we can do it. So collaborating correctly with the right partners, even at the highest level, which is the government level, is so important for us to keep revenues, within the country to increase our GDP, remove leakages, because we can do it. And my team, which we started with 300 and now we have more than 700, 1,000 from MMU, combining with TMR&D researchers, I'm very convinced we can make a difference to Malaysia.
So do you have anything to top up, Dr. Zakia?
Okay. Talking about collaborative efforts, I agree with Dr. Charlene that climate change is very complex. We cannot do things alone. It's not one person or one entity responsibility. Everybody responsible, and because this place is our place. I remember in one training that I attended last few weeks with one professor, he said that it's not that we want our next generation can stay in our world right now. We must inherit them with a better world, a better environment. But how? Okay. So talking about collaborative efforts, we know that the government, for example, their role is to establish policies. We can see there are so many policies related to climate change, biodiversity, whatever. There are so many policies. But sometimes when we go to the public, to the community, it's like there is a gap and also disconnections between the policy, which is very ambitious, with the people who are actually within the ecosystem. Okay, from business perspective, in Malaysia, data from SME Corporation in 2023, 96.9% business entities or organizations or enterprises are actually MSME. What is MSME? Micro, small, medium enterprises. 96.9%. And out of this 96.9%, 69% is fall under micro businesses. So how actually, when we devise or we develop a policy, we connect with these micro enterprises and people within these micro businesses. It's actually not easy. We have to engage, we have to communicate, we have to talk to them, we have to create awareness and so on. We, government and us lah, those who are aware. And then definitely it starts with education. University, schools must play its role. So I think I would like to take this opportunity to answer question number 2, Prof. In MMU, MMU works very closely with industry. I think through Prof. Hairul's division, MIT, Market Explorations and Engagement, Faculty of Business, for example, we started our communication with Bursa Malaysia, and we are currently developing MBA program or embedding sustainability elements inside our MBA program. And that MBA program will be micro-credentialized so that we can support Bursa Malaysia in its effort to produce talents in sustainability. Okay, this is partly the efforts, our role in creating awareness, in making sure that the talents that we produce have at least awareness or educated in terms of sustainability and also SDG. So we are currently doing it. Inshallah, by the end of this year, we'll finish everything, and by next year, we will start offering the program to the public. That is MBA with sustainability elements. And moving forward, the Faculty of Business, we revise our contents and we try to map with SDG as well. So that is some small steps that we are currently doing in making sure that we will be able to produce talents with sustainability knowledge. Okay. And of course, we are not alone. We work with organizations because we would like to know what industries want, what actually needed in the industry in terms of this. Otherwise, we will be short sendiri lah. There will be content like just putting in slot in topics here and there. We don't want to do something like that. We want something better, something more impactful. Okay, and then of course for business corporations can be part of it. Providing solutions, developing solutions, and change practices and so on. And of course, the most important is community and stakeholder engagement. Because yeah, everybody is part of business. We are working in a business organization. So indirectly, we're part of this. We are part of this environmental issues and so on. I would like to give one example. Malaysia's Sustainable Tourism Recovery Project, led by United Nations Development Programme or UNDP, in collaboration with Ministry of Tourism Malaysia, Ministry of Finance, a few NGOs, and also local tourism stakeholders. Okay, local tourism stakeholders in 3 different locations. They started this project in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. They talk to tour operators, talk to micro, small, medium enterprises involved in the tourism industry, talking about the technical know-how, digital technologies, how they can use digital, reduce papers in the tourism industries. So they identified mistaken in Mersing, Johor, Setiu, Terengganu, and I don't remember. Another one is maybe Perak, Taiping, maybe. So they talk to the small operators, all the stakeholders in tourism, and start develop capabilities. Teach them how can they use digital technologies in order for them to improve sustainability aspect in their businesses. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much to both of our panelists. Let me make a conclusion of what the panelists have shared with us. Earlier, we have Dr. Charlene talk about, in fact, the question is asking about the importance of collaboration. But Dr. Charlene, who is a real industry leader, you were talking about not only the importance, before we look into the importance, it's important for us to look into what are the challenges first. Okay, and also what are the key drivers of successful collaboration? So you coined 2 main drivers. One is effective communication, and the second one is the selection of business partner. So this will ensure successful collaboration and partnership. And also Dr. Zakia, okay, basically shared many likes and answer to Prof questions, talking about how MMU embed sustainability and resilience factors in our curriculum, all right, through our not only undergraduate programs, but also postgraduate programs like MBA and also micro-credentials, where we will be selling to the corporate clients, okay? And making this successful, this requires a lot of collaboration and partnership with multi-stakeholders as well. So moving on to the second part of our panel discussion, we'll be talking about practical applications and future directions. So we would like to ask Dr. Charlene, can you provide some practical examples of how digital technologies invented by TM R&D are being used to address climate challenges? Thank you.
Oh, with this topic, I can go on forever. So top of mind right now is a project that we're working on with KKM, which is the Kementerian Komunikasi Malaysia, to investigate the potential of direct-to-device satellite connectivity. I'm sure you have heard about it in the media. You know, companies coming out with direct-to-device satellite connectivity using low Earth orbit satellite. Now, this is about using satellite communication without having to have a bulky attachment to your mobile phone, using your existing mobile phone. How cool is that? So the work that we're trying to do right now is to find applications for this technology and whether we can use it for conservation and biodiversity management efforts, both in the sea, in the ocean, as well as in the forest. Now, these are the two areas where current connectivity technologies cannot cover. Because we understand managing this is super critical for climate change, yeah, and climate governance. So and I'll just walk you a little bit because I see a lot of students here, and I think it's important for me to express why the sea is equally as important as the forest, and why each animal and each plant life on this planet is super critical for us to keep before it goes extinct. Yeah. So one of the sea is one of the first body of elements that is affected by climate change. Yeah, and the ocean influences weather and climate by storing solar radiation, distributing heat and moisture around the world, and driving weather system changes. Now, did you know that when the temperature rises in the ocean, yeah, ice caps melts, and as Prof. Kushairi was talking about. And what happens when a lot of fresh water gets mixed with salt water? Because the sea is salt water, and the animals and the algae and the plant life in the sea lives because of that certain salination and pH level of the salt water. So once a lot of this fresh water gets mixed into the salt water, the temperature rises, number one, and the pH level changes. Yeah. And when this pH level changes, some plant life, some algae life cannot adapt and they die. So when one plant life or animal life die, maybe it goes unnoticed because the other plant life, kind of have some diversity rules and so on. But when a lot of it dies, then there is a gap in this ecosystem that we call life, because each animal, plant, algae exist on this planet because they serve a purpose. We all are in this ecosystem, right? I think we learn in school, big animal eats small animals, small animal eats small animals, and so on. So they all have a role to play, although it seems we don't know with the connection. It's just like having your toothbrush or your comb, and each time each little fiber gets lost, and you have a lopong, right? You have a hole in this comb or this, and it doesn't serve its function. So what we need to do is try and use technology to try and figure out how. One is for ecosystem management to try and get as much data in as fast the time as possible for better decision making to be made. And that's why we're trying to go into the ocean. Another project that we are very excited to talk about is related to the forest pula and the animals in the forest, which is the Central Forest Spine project that we have worked with Jabatan Perhilitan Negeri Selangor. Now, this is an effort that spans across 8 states to try and connect back the disconnected forests in Malaysia. And I'll try and tell you why and how technology plays a role and how TMRND is part of this initiative, which we are super proud of. So this is a national level initiative. Did you know that forests, before human beings, and I think Dr. Zakia was talking about, one of the biggest reasons why we are in this mess is because of humans, right? And Jane Goodall, who, this lady who champions chimpanzees, and she said that the human species is the most evasive species on this earth because we are the ones that can make other species die. Somehow lah, huh? Okay, so we don't want to belabor that point. But how certain human species, like people like you, who are researchers and who are thinking about how to use technology to kind of neutralize, some of the other things that is happening around us. So did you know that forest actually is supposed to be one contiguous forest? That's how forest, is. Technically, from Johor all the way to Thailand, Burma, India, China, that's how forests used to be. Yeah, and animals used to roam this forest looking for food, water source, and so on. Like certain musim, certain times of the year, they go south, certain times north, because that's where the food is, and so on. And animals have their own internal GPS, and that's how they know how to find a certain space without having a map. Now, with rapid urbanization, this forest becomes disconnected. And that's why you see certain animals like the elephants or sometimes tigers walking into the street, right? Or into a owl palm plantation, because that used to be part of the forest corridor. So this CFS program, which is a national level program, and it's a collaboration with 8 states and 6 government agencies, including TMRND, to provide the technology for biodiversity management. It spans UPEN, the Jabatan Perhutanan Negeri Selangor, Plant Malaysia, FRIM, and so on. So we are working together to, they are doing their part, which is to connect the disconnected forests and to make sure the plant life is as it should be. Because if you ask people like me, I would plant durian tree, mangosteen tree, and so on. But we were schooled by them to say that this is not what animals eat. So if we want a certain kind of birds, which is supposed to be part of that ecosystem, because this bird will then fuel, that ecosystem of others, we need to make sure we have certain berries that we don't eat, but the animals eat. How often do we tebang a pokok? We chop down a tree because we say, hey, what is this berry? I don't know who eats this berry, right? Like these little red things and so on. And we cut it down because we want a rambutan tree. But by doing that, we kind of lose a certain ecosystem. Yeah. Okay. So the role that we play is to provide technology to harness the data that sits in all these government agencies, put it into a single dashboard, use AI and analytics to then help them visualize what the problem is, where the problem is, and what they need to do to solve their particular problem. One is animals going extinct. Number 2 is to find where is they call it the haiwan pemangkin. Did you know that the tapir is the haiwan pemangkin? So all these wildlife people, they go into the jungle looking for this haiwan pemangkin. That means the starter animal, and the tapir is a starter animal. If they find a tapir in that, they know they can grow an ecosystem. It's amazing, the science around there. So what we're trying to do is tap on these experts in the field, put them into a technology or a platform that can help then disseminate this information to the non-experts like us, the normal guys who can now also talk conservation, because we have a tool to help us figure out what to do next, and what to do next. And through our alliance with FRIM, we then learn of another big business for us, like Dr. Zakia was talking how humans can also fuel business. And it's about carbon stock assessment. So once we understood that the forest, which is a natural resource for us, to generate economy or money for the economy, some people used to cut down the forest because you sell the kayu bala, right? But there's also money in keeping the forest, and that is in your carbon stock assessment, because every tree in the forest has the ability to sink carbon. The wider the branch or the trunk of the tree, the more carbon they sink. And this is money, actually, when the business of carbon trading and the carbon stock exchange comes into play. And we are one of the few countries in the world who have forests, because we sit on the Khatulistiwa, the equatorial belt. Brazil, Malaysia, we learn in school, right? We are the only ones who have these forests and the ability to help the world sink carbon. So what the team has done in working with FRIM is to build a tool to assess this carbon stock, because this is money. It's like assessing value, it's assessing gold. And this data is actually published and shared with the UN because there's some funding, and so on. So, and usually when you get funding because of data, people dispute your data, right? Because it's done manually in the past. So with digital technology, we can do it. We can automate a lot of this. We can do a 3D visualization of the forest using drones, get a carbon stock assessment, and have data to prove that this information is current, the calculation is current, because every tree species have a different calculation, and so on and so on. So this is how we use technology to get more information out, undisputed information for funding related issues, for tax related issues, because sometimes people say, okay, this area boleh tebang build something because kayu pala is very useful. But maybe the analysis can be done, oh, if you keep it, it has better value, example, right? Or this tree trunk size actually has better value because this species versus that species and so on. So putting this all into technology and a platform with analysis is some of the examples of the work we do at TMR&D. And nak cari orang, if any of you are interested, please, meet any of my team. There's a lot of work to be done in this space, and we welcome anyone who would like to help. Yeah, that's from me.
All right, thank you very much to Dr. Charlene. I'm so much immersed into your sharing, very exciting sharing about what TMR&D is currently doing in protecting biodiversity management, especially for water and forest habitat. Okay, so moving on, we would like to ask Dr. Zakia, who is also a certified small and micro business advisor. I think this question is just perfect for you. So what businesses often faced obstacles when integrating digital technologies for sustainability. So as a SME advisor, can you share some of the main challenges that these small and medium enterprises face? And could you please offer, some practical solutions for overcoming them?
Okay, thank you, Terence, again. I think talking about small businesses or micro businesses, the major challenge is digital skill gap. And also, I think one mentioned by Prof. Kushari just now in the slide is the digital divide. Developing countries versus developed countries versus non-developing countries. We are facing different communities, different people. Okay. I had the opportunity working or helping communities with Kemas, for example, developing entrepreneurship, helping them in terms of digital and so on. Even my students also doing some research about digital competency and digital literacy in rural areas. How actually they adopt technologies in their daily routines and so on. So for small businesses or for micro businesses, digital skill gap is very, very clear. We can't talk about digital competency yet. Even digital literacy also sometimes very poor. It ended up with they have to, for example, small micro businesses, there's a few ladies selling cakes. They know to sell cakes, they have to go digital. They have to post on Facebook. They have to create digital contents and so on. I had a collaboration project with MBMB, Majlis Majlis Bandar Bersejarah, MBMB. We call it as a knowledge transfer program, and MBMB invite community public to attend the program. We teach this small businesses, micro businesses, or home-based businesses. We teach them on how to do digital marketing on Facebook, Instagram, and so on. So there's one kakak came together with his son, and it was not that his son was in standard 5 at that time. So he said that, Cikgu, I don't know how, I do not know how to use computer. So let my son learn from you, and I will sit next to him. It touched me, actually. It touched me because as a digital, somebody in the area, I mean, Malacca is very small, and we can still see people like that. Selling things, but they don't know how. They want, but they don't know how. So we help this small family. We teach the son to coming out with digital poster using Canva and so on. I told him that actually you can use your Delima application yang provided by KPM, and you can access with so many applications inside there. He was like, oh, okay. Never knew that. Not because no exposure. This is very it's just one of the example. I went to Kemas, Wilayah Persekutuan. They invited me for 3rd times already up to last year. Every year lah, I went there for being a mentor for the ladies who involved in these small businesses. So there were cases where these ladies being trained by Kemas, Kemas, they bake cake, Kemas even, I think the support for small businesses is quite good. They even have like a simulations room for them to do things lah. Those who go for hairdressing and so on. But how to sell that business? Kan? They don't know. So they ended up hire somebody else to do those things for them. Which at the end of the day, when we mentored them, we found out that habislah the money. The profit goes to the third party. Because they have to pay third party to produce, to promote. So that is just some examples of how challenging it is for us to make sure that everybody adopt digital technologies. We are talking about business perspective, not talking about climate change yet. Talking about this automation, IoT, AI, machine learning, forget it. Okay, this is what is happening in the community. And then, digital divide. Let's say all tourism operators, small or big, have to shift to digital technology because maybe there is a regulations, policy, or there is incentive. But the people working with them, are they able to use? The customers, the clients, they are able or not to use. Maybe there is no connectivity or very poor connectivity in that area. I think that is the role of TM lah. to in supporting this digital, and then not including all the 5G cause cancer lah, all those mythos and so on. That is also one of the challenges kan that we have to face in the society and in the community. That is one perspective. Digital divide, digital skill gap. Okay. Number 2, change management. Okay lah, everybody can use handphone, good connectivity and so on. But do they want to change their habits, the way they use things? Some people, some bosses, even leaders, they said that whatever you want to submit to me, you print. Sometimes only one mistake kan? Print multiple copies. Small s, big S. My name with binti, without binti and so on. Print. That's simple things. But then, we know it's happening, right? Leadership, vision is not there. That is also one of the challenges that we have to face. And I think we can talk about technologies, IoT, whatever lah, AI, machine learning, so many technologies available, blockchain, in order for us to react or to face the climate change. But cost is actually the major concerns of businesses. It could be it requires huge initial costs for businesses to invest. When we wanted to shift to digital, 100% digital, we are still fighting about storage in the organization, in the university. We're still fighting over those things because of course. But if leaders have a clear vision, okay, and know how to maybe calculate the short-term, long-term benefits, because when we talk about business, people wants to see that dollar and cents. So I remember when I presented a project in one of my master's class that time, my professor asked us to do calculation. When you said that you want to propose this system, you said that it's for efficiency. How can you translate that efficiency to dollar and cents? Alamak. How? You do things faster kan? Means that you reduce time to do manual things, small tasks too. Now with AI, for example, Maybe last time it took us 2 days to come out with poster. But now with AI, there's so many AI applications available and it's free. We can generate 10 posters. Boss, you choose lah, the 10 posters. My social media team sometimes, I also don't know which one that I have to pick because there's so many. It's that AI generated things. So increase in productivity means that we can reduce energy, reduce reduce people who are doing manual tasks, and actually we can divert lah these people, upskill them to do better things lah. Economically, it's actually long-term benefits. But small and micro businesses, they don't really see long-term benefits. Because sometimes the profit that they get is only for them to survive. Jual hari ni, get today, itulah makan hari ni. That is the basic concept for micro businesses lah. So how to overcome? If medium businesses, okay, leaders can have a set clear vision. Clear vision does not necessarily like, okay, we must reduce usage of paper. Very general statement like that is not a clear vision lah, definitely. Reduction 20% of paper usage, for example. Reduction of 20% energy usage. But what is the alternative? You ask to reduce paper, you don't provide the alternative, that is another story. Nah, tu yang fighting kan over storage and so on. And then clear communication. What is the big picture? Why we do this? Why we initiate this? We have this initiative. We should go to this digital and so on. Why should we shift to digital technologies? And then definitely it requires very strong leadership to do that. Strong will. If leaders say that, oh, cannot. I cannot invest in technology anymore. No money. So how? To replace a booking system, reservation system. If leaders, there is no strong will from leaders to shift, no point. Kita cakap je lah kan. Okay, we have to go digital, change digital form and so on. But some people still want digital form pun isi, after fill up digital form, print and submit the printed form. This is for record. What is the point kan? These are some of the challenges lah. For us to go through this, digital transformation journey. Over to you, Terence.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zakia. So from your sharing just now, I think before we talk about the challenges that business face, for example, high initial costs, we're talking about the poor infrastructure and facilities. What are more important is about digital divide. We're talking about digital literacy and also the importance of change management and leadership as well. So moving to the last part of our panel discussion. So we are now exploring future trends. What future trends did you foresee in the intersections of digital technology and climate governance? So we would like to invite Dr. Charlene to share some of your insightful ideas. Thank you.
Thanks, Terence. This one also I can talk forever. So I think there is still a place for existing technologies like AI, blockchain, Dr. Zaki was talking about, and advanced data analytics. So it's just the use case now, leveraging these technologies will be shifted for more climate-related topics. So that means more work for researchers like you and me. So we will see an increasing role where AI-powered models can analyze large amounts of data to forecast extreme weather and perhaps help us prevent measures before a disaster occurs. Blockchain technology, as you all know, is for secure and transparency of information to be shared. And so this is where it can be used to track carbon credits, to ensure emissions reductions are genuine, and to track the entire value chain and transparency of the value chain when we talk about carbon credits and carbon monitoring and emissions reduction. Advanced analytics, I think you all know, it's how to leverage information from a huge amount of sources, because that's the amount of modeling that we need for climate change. So for new technology or potential future research directions, I will be looking at a couple of things. Perhaps future research will be looking at enhancing climate risk modeling and decision support systems. Now, your future research will aim to develop more advanced climate risk models that combine data from sources like satellite imagery, IoT sensors, and social media. So this is more hyper local information to be consolidated with global information or a little bit more large based models. And insurance companies are looking a lot in this because they need to be able to price the risk of climate change into every policy, into your car insurance, into your fire insurance, and so on. I think for countries like Australia, where now forest fires have become quite the norm, when in the past it wasn't. So we're quite lucky in some sense here. I think there will be also a lot of work in developing decentralized energy grids and smarter cities. So any technologies that will support this, which is a combination of renewable energy into the existing grid for better energy management. We will also, I believe, we will be looking at integrating all these smart systems with existing legacy systems, because no way can we get rid of the old so quickly when we have the new. So a lot of adoption of technology will be about integrating the old stuff to sit on top, integrating new stuff, new technologies and systems into the old technology and systems. And this is super important for those of you who want to get into the business of integration and deploying your solutions, because you need to understand what's on the ground, the ecosystem on the ground. And then, of course, a lot more work on climate adaptive AI systems. Now, we think one of the biggest use case would be in agriculture, where imagine if you could have a solution that is climate adaptive, so they can give you a response based on the climate trend or the hyperlocal climate changes that you're seeing. For example, Typhoon Yagi that has hit Vietnam, right? So many people died. And this evolution of this typhoon is becoming stronger and stronger and more often. In the past, when I was growing up, it was like once in 10 years, maybe, you hear of one typhoon. Now every year it's cascading across the globe. So I'll pause that, and those are my top 3 thoughts on future research potential and where technology can be used to help in climate change.
Okay, I think Dr. Charlene has covered all. That is her expertise lah, the actual technologies in the industry, needed by the industry and the country, basically. But I wanted to add, there's one more thing. Because we are living in the data world at the moment, where data analytics is important. Do you know Waze application? Everybody knows Waze, right? So as compared to Google Map, which one that you prefer?
For me,
Some people prefer Waze, some people prefer Map. Depends on your need. Why do you prefer Waze, Doctor?
Oh, this is tough. Because it talks. Correct.
Because
It tells me when the police is ahead.
yes, because it contains data or information that we really need, right? So one professor told me that I use both, Zakia. To show me the route, I prefer Google Map, but to know that there is a police ahead or accident ahead, I will turn on Waze at the same time. Okay, what do I learn from this? Data does not necessarily come from this automation system, sensoring, monitoring, and so on. Data can come from people, netizens, citizens. So if we can develop an application, Dr. Charlene, you can take it, this idea. No copyright. we can develop an application where people or human can be part of the contributors to the climate data. people everywhere can tell us, oh, there is a flood here, there is heavy rainfall here, there are incidents here and there. And we can gather all this information from small incidents to big disaster. It may carry a very good insights to us on the prevention, on the policy, preparation, in fact, to the businesses. How can we react to all these incidents? Kan? If let's say that we know there is a possibility of flood in this route, of course we stop our delivery man from using that route. Divert them and so on. And that will not disrupt our business. That is just one of the example how actually digital technologies can help us, businesses, by collecting data from the citizens. And indirectly, we make people aware, engage with us, aware about the importance of taking care of the world, of the earth, and so on. We put them together. Similarly, we can see from waste, kan? Finally, what happened? What happened? What happened? Why? People are asking. They are communicating, and we are collecting the data in real time. That is one of the things lah that pop up suddenly. So we can come out with analytics and so on that can also contribute to businesses and also country. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much to both our panelists. Dr. Charlene has shared many ambitious thoughts about what would be the future trends. All right. Then Dr. Siti Zakia mentioned about, yes, we need to have these new innovations, but what is more important is about the innovations have to be having user-centric features, whereby it is user-friendly, especially to the users. And what can make these innovations to be user-centric? The data should be contributed or generated and shared by the users, because when it comes to sustainability and resilience, it is about a collective effort from the community. It's not just about an effort from a single stakeholder. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of today's discussion. So as we move forward, let's take the insights from today and turn them into action. Embrace these technologies, tackle the challenges head on, and continue to collaborate and forge a path to a more resilient and sustainable world. So once again, thank you to our panelists for the invaluable contributions and to all of you for joining us today. So should you have any questions later, so you're encouraged to share your thoughts and further discuss with our panelists over the networking session later. So once again, thank you very much and wishing you a pleasant day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terence Tan, and big thanks to all the panelists for the enlightening session we just had. Next, I am excited to introduce the Adoptory campaign by Yayasan University Multimedia, a key initiative aimed at enhancing MMU's landscape and supporting UN SDG Goal 15 Life on Land. This initiative engages corporations, alumni, and individuals in environmental conservation while providing financial aid for MMU B40 students. Through this campaign, you can adopt one of the 488 trees available. Contributions start from RM500 for individuals and RM1,500 for groups or corporations. Lifetime contributions are also welcome. Your support not only helps protect ecosystems and support biodiversity, but also contributes to the education of deserving students at MMU. This is an opportunity for each of us to make a lasting impact on our environment. Your contributions, whether big or small, will directly support our goal of a greener, more sustainable future. We encourage you to join this initiative and be part of this meaningful journey. Let us now watch a short montage on the Adopatory campaign marking the official launch of this meaningful initiative. Thank you everyone for your support. I would now like to invite our VIP guests to the showcase area where we have prepared a special exhibition by TMRND on digital technology in climate governance. For our other guests, refreshments are now available, and I invite you to enjoy them as you continue to network and discuss the important themes we have explored today. Thank you all for being a part of this event. Together, we can drive the change needed for a sustainable future. To mark today's occasion, I would like to invite all together for a group photo. Could the photographer please come on stage? Dr. You would like to have a group photo first? Sorry.